Hi, I'm Mika Häkkinen. I'm here today in Paul Ricard's, and usually I'm driving a McLaren Formula 1 car in racing circuits around the world and competition with other Formula 1 drivers. But today here I had time to come here to Paul Ricard, look to GT racing and support the McLaren drivers. And it definitely looks good. We are first, second and third. And it's excellent. Sun is shining and it's good fun. Ciao.
The former French Grand Prix circuit of Paul Ricard hosts the second round of the 1995 Kerscher Global Endurance GT here in the sunshine of Provence, but where the icy Mistral blows off the Alps, a reminder that it's still winter in Europe. It was on this track this time last year that the BPR series started, world-class sports car racing reborn after 2 years without any international series. Back this year, by a dozen manufacturers, the GT Series is proving a worthy successor to Group C. Top of the pile at the moment is McLaren, coming to Le Castellet after a debut victory in Jerez 2 weeks earlier. But it was at a price. Only one of 3 650 horsepower McLaren F1 GTRs finished in Spain. The West car of John Nielsen and Thomas Buescher, run by Dave Price Racing from Britain, broke its gearbox. And the Gulf car of Lindsay Owen-Jones and Pierre-Henri Raffanel lost 2 wheels. It was left to Ray Bellum and Maurizio Sala in the number 1 Gulf McLaren to take a 15-second victory from the Labre Porsche 911 of Bob Wallach, Jean-Pierre Jarier and Christophe Bouchou, giving Gulf its first sports car victory since the 1970s. McLaren this weekend for France's BBA Motorsport owner Jean-Luc Marie Laribière, sharing with Laurent Lecuyer and Pascal Fabre. But the opposition has grown dramatically, 38 cars at Ricard, with Chevrolet and Lotus adding. McLaren program on schedule?
Well, yeah, we've had quite a smooth start to the season. The teams have really got themselves together with very little time, done an exceptional job, and the development team on the test car have pulled through some excellent results. So working together with the teams, I think we're getting the job done at the moment.
Making their first 1995 BPR appearance are the Callaway Corvettes, now run by Rocky Augusta's customer team out of Britain. They have 2 replicas of last year's successful front-engine GT2 muscle car. Drivers are Helicopter Air, Augusta himself, Giovanna Amati and Eugene O'Brien, Almo Capelli and Philip Olgic in the other car, with the experienced Keith Green as team manager. We asked Reese Callaway about this year's plans.
Plans this year are for Callaway to support teams that own new versions of this GT2 car. This is the debut here in the hands of the Augusta team of the first 2 new Callaway cars. So we've got our fingers crossed for this weekend.
There are 3 Ferrari F40s, one of them an IMSA F40 Le Mans, similar to the car Jean Alesi raced in the States in 1989. Preparing the way for the new factory F40 GT Evolutions, which will debut at Monza next weekend. Michel Ferté is entrusted with the car, which has been delivered straight from a Swiss museum to the racetrack. It joins the Pilot Oldex team's regular F40 of Paul Belmondo, Michel Neugarten and owner Santiago Puig. The Ferrari growing in fourth for Ferrari. There are more Porsche GT2s for customer teams here at Ricard, although some, like Conrad Motorsport, prefer to build their own. This is Conrad's 993 Biturbo for American Paul Bedell, Englishman Soames Langton and Germo Vida Rossler, and this is the team's regular 911 Turbo. But the 911 loses its engine in practice, and Franz Conrad's Dutch partner Bert Plug has to sit out first qualifying. The Labre competition remains favourite outside McLaren, the factory-assisted 911 GT2 having finished second in Jerez despite giving away almost 200 horsepower, although in the same GT1 class as McLaren, choosing to run wider wheels than GT2 permits. Jean-Pierre Jarier won here last year, but he, Bob Wallach and Christophe Bouchou have a formidable task ahead of them on this long power circuit if they're to beat Woking's finest. Trying to stay with them sometimes means kissing the wall. It should have 650 horsepower though, in time for Monza. GT2 may be the second division with 450 horsepower against GT1's 650, but the competition is no less intense. Switzerland's Enzo Calderari, Daytona and Jerez GT2 category winner for Porsche, takes us on a lap of the circuit in his Stadler Motorsport 911.
Ich bin Enzo Calderari und fahre Sie eine Runde auf dem Superstellenkurs in Le Castellet in meinem Porsche Turbo 911 GT2.
Well, Enzo Calderari telling us I'm taking you for a lap of Paul Ricard in my 911 GT2. So we're using fifth gear on the straight here under the bridge. It's the left-hander, fourth gear in this curve. That's very quick here, into fifth gear.
Langsamere Fahrzeuge vor uns. Wir kommen in
With slow cars ahead of us going into the chicane. My job now is to pass them without any damage.
Das Fahrzeug zieht nach rechts, wir gehen links vorbei.
Passing left and immediately there's another car in front.
Fahrzeug rechts Kurve,
through the double right at Verrières.
Und wir versuchen
now trying to find fourth gear as quickly as possible so we have a good speed out onto the Mistral straight.
Unheimlich lange Mistral gerade. Jetzt geht's voll ab.
It's up to full speed here on the Mistral, 2.4 kilometers, fifth gear, then up to 305 kilometers an hour in sixth gear.
Und es geht lange, bis die unheimlich schnelle Kurve de la Sine kommt. Bremspunkt liegt in etwa bei 150 Meter. Wir befinden uns im Windschatten.
Well, we start braking 150 meters before Sine corner, try to get a slipstream off that Venturi to the fourth gear corner.
Rauf beschleunigen, lassen den vierten Gang drin, kommen hinunter zu der nächsten
and the tight right of Basso.
Wieder ein Fahrzeug rechts, müssen
must go left onto the curbs
und kommen zu der Schikane.
Get lined up for this important series of bends. It's like a chicane,
damit wir
but not too hard onto the curbs.
Über den
Third gear,
links,
try to be as quick as possible in the right-hander, Le Pingle.
Alles noch im dritten Gang. Versuchen schnell rauszukommen in die Rechtskurve.
There's left curve, keeping the car on the left, on entry to get a good top speed.
Linkskurve, ganz innen fahren und versuchen gut raus zu beschleunigen, in der Finalkurve durch die
last corner now before the right in front of the pits.
Wir uns wieder auf der langen Boxengerade.
Oh, up onto the curbs.
Und voll ab.
Full speed. Third, fourth, fifth gears.
Auf dem Stellenkurs.
And another lap.
Grüße Enzo.
Well, Enzo's lap was good enough to qualify second in GT2 behind Almo Capelli's Chevrolet Corvette. top of the field after qualifying sees Jarre's Labre Porsche in 4th overall, and then the 3 McLarens with Denmark's Big John Nielsen 3rd fastest for West. Raffanel is 2nd fastest for Gulf. And Brazilian pocket rocket Maurizio Sala on pole position.
It's good, it's great to be in pole position again. What I can remember, the pole position I had was last year in go-kart race back in Brazil. But to be with the McLaren, with the Gulf team, is quite good achievement.
Maurizio, in Jerez you were complaining about problems with the car oversteering a lot when you were driving it. This is all cured now.
Yeah, we changed a little bit the settings. Here is a fast circuit than Jerez, yes. The car is quite good in the high-speed corners. We're losing a little bit speed on the straight. We don't know why. We're going to look in that. But so far has been good.
Top speed on the Mistral with 311 kilometers is recorded by the McLarens, just short of 200 miles per hour. We're going to take a break. Join Ben Edwards for the race coverage.
I am Maurizio Sala. We are pole position for the Paul Ricard race, and after the break I see you in the grid.
Join us on the grid at Paul Ricard for the second round of the Karsha Global Endurance GT Series, where McLaren has dominated qualifying ahead of a 38-car field. On pole, the Jerez winning #1 Gulf McLaren F1 GTR, which Ray Belm is going to drive, and alongside the #3 sister car of Pierre-Henri Raffanel. An all-Gulf McLaren front row of the grid, but only 0.4 of a second between the two of them. On the inside of the second row, the third of the McLarens, that being driven by John Nielsen. And alongside him, the Labre Competition Porsche. Bob Wallach at the wheel. He'll be joined by Jean-Pierre Jarier and Christophe Bouchou in the course of the race. The next McLaren, the new McLaren of Pascal Fabre, is next up, and alongside him is the Ferrari F40 of Michel Ferté.
Forza Ferrari.
On the fourth row of the grid, Andy Wallace in the ADA De Tomaso Pantera, looking for a better result than in Jerez, where they had fuel problems. And also, alongside him, the pilot Aldix Formula F40 of Paul Belmondo. Behind those first 4 rows, another 30 cars in the biggest European sports car field outside Le Mans in recent years. We've got an onboard camera, and it's in the yellow Obermeyer Porsche 911 Turbo of Friedrich Leinemann, starting from the 6th row of the grid. Hours of racing about to get underway as the cars are led round behind the pace car. It's a difficult race, 3.6 mile circuit with some of the highest speeds seen in the sports car category, and some high temperatures as well. So that won't make it any easier on the equipment as they try and perform at their best. A classic long distance circuit, Paul Ricard, and it sets the scene for round 2 of the Karsha Global Endurance GT Series. Start of the race then, and the McLarens set off up front. Meanwhile, on board with Friedrich Leinemann as he tries to establish his position in the midfield. An excellent start from Pierre-Henri Raffanel, who grabs the early lead from John Nielsen, with the F40 coming up into 3rd place, and Ray Belm's McLaren dropping back down into 4th position. The cars accelerate up onto the long Mistral straight. The battle between the McLarens is continuing, and Raffanel is coming under pressure from John Nielsen. Nielsen grabbing the initiative and diving ahead as they go into Scene Corner. Raffanel in 2nd, Belm up into 3rd position, and then the rest of the pack with the De Tomaso Pantera of Andy Wallace ahead of the Labre Competition Porsche at the moment. Back on board with Leinemann once again as he tries to to stay on the pace of the cars in his category, the GT2 class. Nielsen beginning to pull away a little bit from the other McLarens, but once again the McLaren F1 GTR setting the pace in GT racing. Lineman having a big battle for 10th place at the moment, and meanwhile the leader McLaren is beginning to escape the two Gulf cars a little bit further behind, and still the battles in the top 10 are going on. Number 32 car of Stanley Dickens and Arno Trevisol, with Wolfgang Haug also getting involved. The Segel Motorsport 911. Pierre-Henri Raffanel in second place, with Ray Belm right behind him, and then the F40 of Ferté just in the wheel tracks of the McLarens, and certainly managing to keep the pace in the early stages of the race. The Porsche, meanwhile, of Bob Wollek is certainly dropped back a little bit, and it doesn't look as though the car that won at Paul Ricard in the opening round of the BPR series in 1994 is quite being able to match the pace of the new McLarens. Raffanel still chasing after Nielsen, and Nielsen certainly performing well in a car that was damaged in practice by his co-driver Thomas Buescher, but they got the car back together, up and running well, and it certainly seems to be in fine form in the race itself. Lineman now in the battle with the Grizzle Venturi of Thierry Guillot. Nielsen now beginning to come under pressure from Raffanel, who has gradually whittled the gap down to the Dane, and is now beginning to look for a way past. Ray Belm in third place, right behind the lead two McLarens, and life is beginning to get pretty exciting. No team orders between the three cars, as Raffanel dives out of the slipstream of John Nielsen into the inside, into Scene Corner. A late piece of braking, beautiful bit of racing between the two of them, but Raffanel takes the lead away from John Nielsen. Nielsen running up onto the curve a little bit in his attempts to stay with the French driver, but Ray Belm is now beginning to make him worry about his second place as well. Meanwhile, a little further back, the fourth of the McLarens, having its first race, is going quite well. And the De Tomaso Pantera of Andy Wallace is right behind that. The Labra Competition Porsche, however, is dropping back a little bit, unable to keep up the pace of the McLarens up front. The number 55 car, that of Lilian Breiner and Enzo Calderari, winners of the GT2 category in Jerez. But problems as we get into the latter part of the first hour of the race. The race leader, Pierre-Henri Raffanel, in the pits. Well, fuel pressure problems.
Jones leading the race. What's the problem?
Well, we've got an engine that's not pulling right, despite the fact that all the temperatures and pressures are fine. So it's really the electronics guys who are trying to work out why it's not working right now.
Are you confident you're going to get back into the race?
Well, I'm hoping.
They did get back into the race, but they'd lost 6 laps by the time that they did, and effectively, obviously, put them right out of contention. The battle going on up front once again between John Nielsen, controlling his oversteering McLaren F1, involved in the battle with Ray Belm in second place. Meanwhile, further back, there were going to be problems for the Callaway Corvette. Eugene O'Brien behind the wheel of the car at the time when one of its rear wheels decided to part company. The wheel took off and actually landed on a car of one of the marshals, and that marshal happened to be president of the local Corvette club. So all a bit embarrassing. but things were sorted out in the end, and Eugene O'Brien was able to walk away unhurt. Well, the pace car was brought out after that incident, which gave a chance for the cars to all close up and get ready for the next stage of the race. It also gave a chance for some of the pit stops to start occurring, with driver changes, refueling and tyre changes going on. Into the pits, the second place car of Ray Bell. With a bit of a traffic jam ensuing, with everybody deciding to pit at virtually the same time. The number 5 McLaren of Larivière, Lecuyer and Pascal Fabre also into the pits, and just managing to squeeze out from behind them, Torquil Thiering taking over from Andy Wallace in the De Tomaso Pantera. In the Labre Competition Porsche, Christophe Bouchou, the man who's really impressed so many people with his performance and handling of this car, particularly at Jerez, the winner of the Daytona 24 Hours as well, now behind the wheel and ready to set a very quick pace indeed. The Raffinel, Lindsay Owen Jones car now back out onto the circuit, but having lost an awful lot of time in that fuel pressure problems, meaning that they were effectively way down the order.
John Nielsen, maybe a good tactical move there, waiting till after the safety car.
Well, I had a bit of fuel left, so I could just hope that the pace car wouldn't do too many laps, because then I would have to pit also. But yeah, we were lucky there. I'm quite happy.
A very hard first part to the race. A lot of fighting out there with the Gulf cars, and even a Ferrari giving you all some trouble.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's nice to see, isn't it? it's hard racing. We have the same cars, the McLaren, and the Ferrari, as you said, was up there. And it's nice going racing like that, though, I must say. A bit hard, but nice.
The difference is, of course, you're on Goodyear tyres, the others are on Michelin.
Yes, it's right. I seem to have an advantage down the straight. I lose a little bit in the corners. Maybe it's not even the tyre. It could be that I'm running a different setup to the two Gulf cars.
Well, meanwhile, back up front, his teammate and car owner Thomas Buescher had taken the car over from John Nielsen. But that was giving Maurizio Sandro Sala the opportunity to close up, having taken over from Ray Bell, and really beginning to close the gap. In fact, Ray Bell still in the car at this point in the race, but Sala would drive very, very effectively later on and really put some quick laps in to support Ray Bell's driving in that car. One of the Venturis having a little bit of a problem, the car of Thierry Guillot and Gerard Bachler, as we see on board from Friedrich Leinmann's car. A change of lead then, as the Belm car goes ahead of the Nielsen car. Gulf in charge once again. These two McLarens still putting on a great display, but also the progress being noted of the 911 Porsche now, of Christophe Bouchou. Bouchou ended up doing a double stint during the course of the afternoon and gradually worked that 911 GT2 car up into second place. He fought his way past the West McLaren a little bit later on in the afternoon, and once again impressed many people with his pace in the 911. There is Bouchou behind the wheel, and was setting a very, very quick pace indeed on his chase of the McLarens. No doubt looking forward to that extra power that should soon be in the back of the 911. So the Porsche working its way up into second place, getting past the West-sponsored McLaren, but the Nielsen Buescher car holding on to third place as they went on to the halfway point of the race. We'll be back with the last part of the GT race from Paul Ricard in just a moment. Back to round 2 of the Kasia Global Endurance GT series from Paul Ricard. The race was continuing, a 4-hour race that was now beginning to extract its toll of machinery and of drivers as well. Well, problems were certainly happening. The De Tomaso of Andy Wallace had troubles with a misfire later in the race, and Enzo Calderari and Lilian Briner also in trouble.
No luck. We were first and with one lap in front, and another car hit Lilian in the back, so the wheel is off, and we have to give up because the whole suspension on the left-right side is broken.
So troubles for the Porsche drivers, and also troubles for the Callaway Corvettes as well. We spoke to Ricky Agosta.
The car are brand new. It's clearly they suffer all the problem of young car, but for us this is as we said before, is a testing of the car. It's a funny way to test it in a race, but you know, since we receive it pretty late, we will be definitely more ready in Monza to do a very good race, I think.
So Rocky Agusta hopeful of better things to come in the forthcoming rounds of the Global Endurance Series. As the race continued, it was a chance to see just who was going to take victory. Win in the end in the GT4 category went to Grassi Passerini and Colombo, and in the GT2 category to Bedell, Rössler and Soames Langton. The number 20 car here, taking the win in that GT2 series. In the GT3 category, it was the Giglio, Bradra and Muller Porsche, number 29, that took the win. And in the overall standings, finishing in 6th position was the Gross Angelastri Porsche Turbo. And in 5th place, the new McLaren to make its debut here at Paul Ricard, the Larivière, Lecuyer and Pascal Fabre car. 4th position and just off the podium for the Freisinger Motorsport Porsche 911 bi-turbo of Kaufmann, Dijonnet and Albera, the number 50 machine. And this time, after its disappointment of going out at right towards the end of the race in Jerez, the Nielsen Buescher are coming through in 3rd position. Second place in the end to the Porsche 911 that had taken the win here in 1994. Bob Wollek, Jean-Pierre Jarier and Christophe Bouchou driving superbly to keep the car up on the pace on a circuit that was certainly suiting the McLarens down to the ground with the long straights and need for maximum power. But the win going for the 2nd time running in the Global Endurance Series of 1995 to Ray Bell and Maurizio Sandro-Sala. After being put under pressure by the Labour Competition Porsche, particularly after a later pace car period, the McLaren was able to escape once again, and in fact came through to take victory by almost a lap in the closing stages. The very experienced and very fast driver lineup in the 911 couldn't quite hold on to the pace of the McLaren this time, and as you can see, they were in danger of going a lap down on the last few laps. Ron Dennis watched as the checkered flag was made ready, and Maurizio Sandro-Sala took the car to victory. We spoke to Ron Dennis to get his opinions after the race.
This was Gordon Murray's baby originally. Did you take a lot of persuading to start a race program for them?
Well, I think to be fair to the customers, it was really the customers that pushed us into it, and we've got a very good young engineer, James Robinson, who's done a particularly good job at supporting all the customers, and of course the design that Gordon created is a very good nucleus for this program. I'm sure everyone will win a lot more races in McLarens, and that of course is going to make us happy.
And Le Mans, I mean, that's going to be the jewel in the crown.
I think Le Mans is a little ambitious. The car was designed for 4-hour racing. We're of course looking at all the things that are giving small problems, and we'll have to see how competitive we can be and how reliable we can make the car. But at the moment it's certainly fulfilling the objective of winning the races for which it was designed.
And so the second round comes to its conclusion, and once again it's victory for the McLaren F1 GTR of Ray Bell and Maurizio Sandrasala. 2 wins out of 2 races. The series moves on to Monza this coming weekend. The question remains, will anybody be able to beat the Gulf McLarens or the West McLaren of John Nielsen and Thomas Boucher? They're the final results then. Volek, Jarrier and Boucher trying their best, but beaten for the 2nd time in succession. And in the GT2 category, a win for the Rosler team. We spoke to them after the race.
Wir sind natürlich sehr froh, dass wir dieses erste Rennen für uns so entscheiden.
Peter Rosler saying we're very happy with this result, especially after the bitter pill I had to swallow in Jerez when I broke my ribs. So this is a great result for us.
Wir sind überglücklich, dieses Rennen so entscheiden zu können für uns.
Paul Bedell, a much better start after Jerez.
Yes, absolutely. But I think the good thing is that he's well, and I think that was our main concern. And Soames came in and stepped in with us, and he's done a super job. And we'll have to look for the next race.
Soames, looking forward to Monza?
Absolutely. I don't know whether I'll be driving the car, but if they do, I'll be ready to drive it. But
for sale.
Today's result was fantastic. Really good for the team. Very, very pleased.
Make sure you tune in to Euro.